You are looking for the best kegerator on the market. You're looking to have beer on tap at home. You're looking for cocktails on tap at home. You want wine on tap at home. You don't know which fridge to choose. I'm joined by Daniel today, and we're going to show you exactly why these two fridges are your number one choice, as opposed to this one being a subpar option. Before we do this, we are from Keg King. We started bringing the first Kegerators back in 2010. We know what we're doing. We've been manufacturing Kegerators for 15 years non-stop. We are bringing you today a brand new Keginator with very specific price point, same quality, but the most affordable possible. And these two remain the top of the range over that one. And today we show you why.
I got to see it with my own eyes. I know you do as well. So is it going to work? Does our the most affordable Kegerator on the market outperform the competitions? You'll be the judge. I got to see it too.
Remind me, what do they call their fridge anyway?
Series X.
Series X, Series X.1.
Next time.
Series 4.1, they're all the same, right?
Cares.
Yeah, these two, they're not the same. Let's have a look right now. So Daniel, tell me what we're going to do today and how we're going to compare these fridges to show which ones are the best and why they're the best.
All right, so I think that all these fridges, and you should know this, they all fit one 50-liter keg or four 19-liter kegs. We're going to put a couple of 20-liter kegs in them with water, all at the same temperature. We're going to monitor them as they run so that we can see how they get cold, how much heat they put out. We'll check that as well with a camera.
Yep.
It's going to be a very fair test, as fair as we can make it in here with the kegs, the water, the same fridges across the range. That should be it.
Quick question though, why are we using water and we're not using our Aussie drafts made by Keg King Brewing?
Well, we could, but all of our Aussie draft is stored cold. So it's already cold here. So
let's use water. It's going to be a fair assessment. And let's get into the unboxing.
I'm already thirsty.
Right, so we've unboxed the three fridges. Daniel, do you want to tell us what the visual differences are between the R2 KegMaster fridges?
So this is the Premium and this is Keginator. So essentially they're the same footprint. They look very similar. Different door obviously with Keginator. And the whole build is very similar with both of these. So what you get that's mostly the difference is internal. So what you get with the Kegerator itself. So I'll just go ahead and open this one, and we'll go ahead and open this one. And as you can see, inside this one, you've got a lot more gear packed in there with the regulator, drip tray, CO2 cylinder bracket, all the extra equipment comes with this one. Keginator has a little bit less packed into it. It has still the glass rack for the top. Both of these come with that. But Keginator comes with the glass rack. As you can see, there is no stainless steel plate at the base of it. They have the same wall width and they have the same door height. What is also a little bit different with them, and you'll see when we turn them on, is that display panel out the front. Keginator is a very basic display. It has temperature for up and down. And the Premium is going to have the fan speed control.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about what is different between these and what we have over here.
Well, just looking purely at the visuals, we'll do the technical stuff a bit later. From my perspective, between these two from the top, you might not see that very well, but there's some covers for the holes here where the guide rail can go, just so that dust doesn't get in. That's always quite nice. From the front, we can see that Keginator has a beautiful black door. This is sort of stainless looking on the Premium, as it is Premium. This one also has a sort of fake stainless looking finish on it. Visually, what I can see is that this fridge looks a little bit deeper than ours. We'll do measurements later, that's fine. And it feels a bit higher as well, so there might be good reasons for that. From the back, and we'll get some shots put into the screen for you guys, Obviously, these two fridges, the KegMasters, with all the solid history we have in engineering, we have the condenser lines on the outside of the fridge at the back. We'll talk about why it's important to do that later. This one does not. I'm assuming that the condenser lines are on inside of the walls here. So let's just open the fridges and see what's inside. So similar to our premium fridge, this one comes with a bunch of things on the inside. The other visual, and maybe Daniel, do you want to flip the fridges around again? Oh, do you see that? On the inside, there's a shelf, there's a drip tray, there's a carbonation chart. Now this will be the regulator and some additional parts. Yeah, cooler, warmer, temperature, fan, on and off. Seems pretty straightforward. We can see that our premium fridge obviously has a fan speed control. This one, from the outset, doesn't look like it has a fan speed control.
It just helps with noise. It also helps with, control inside your draft system. The font fans themselves are used to air cool the fonts that will sit on top of these Kegerators. And the condensing lines we were mentioning earlier are for dispensing heat away from the keg. So these ones trapped in the wall, and ours are hanging off the back here, which is a great way to ventilate that.
There is one more change between the Kegerator that is different to this one. This one has a plate at the bottom. Keginator doesn't have one because it doesn't really need one. Our premium fridge has one just because it's always been there. Again, that's basically what's been copied from this one to this one. Our two KegMasters, the real Kegerators and original ones, have a bigger compressor from the outside. So two big compressors here, and clearly something that looks a lot smaller. I don't know about you guys, but usually bigger compressors means more powerful compressors, more efficiency as well. It just means that your fridge should run better. So we'll find out during our testing. I think these are the main visual differences from between all these three fridges. The next step for us is to set up a bit of testing to see which one performs better. Daniel, what are we going to do?
So, an equal test across all of them. We're going to use a 20-liter keg of water in all of them at the same temperature. We're going to have data logger, or we might just use Mark II temp controllers on the top, which will have the display on so we can watch what happens over time. We're going to power them all equally, so they're all attached to the power supply that we have here in the studio. And we're just going to run them over the weekend, watch what happens.
Do you know what I really like, Daniel, is that black door actually stands out quite a bit from all these fridges. I think it was a good decision of you to suggest this. People will really enjoy having a different visual. Sometimes you just need a different color when you buy equipment, and having a black door was very smart. Well done, Daniel. So we're going to do one quick thing, which is really important with our design on our fridges, which are really good. I'm going to flip that around. You'll see on the back sticker here, it says freestanding installation only. Now, that's a requirement when you have insulation inside the walls and dissipates heat from the walls. But on these models with this design, a heat dissipation happens here. So what happens is, really good, you can cross that off, right? You don't have to have it freestanding. You can have it right up to the sides on wherever you need to. It is a major advantage if you ask me. You can also drill through the sides, but the stickers are not, on that part of the sticker is not completely accurate. You can just ignore that. We can guarantee you that it doesn't void the warranty to have them built in that way. We actually have some spare parts for that. We'll get to that in a different video on how to upgrade your system. But I just wanted to show you this. It works on Keginator and our premium fridge.
So we had to set up a test to be able to make sure that we had data to be able to present, to be able to say what's happening when these fridges are working and cooling down. So for that test, I grabbed some of our Australian-made 20-liter junior fermenters, just the tanks, filled them with water, put them into each fridge. This one is clever us. Put them into each fridge, and the probe was actually sitting in the water to begin with, so we could watch as these all started off at an equal temp of, it was 18, I believe, when we put them in. So they were all at 18 across all of them. So we put one in this one as well, but we put these temperature probes so we could get tracking data on the cooling and efficiency of the fridges. We've also plugged them into these two fridges, into the PowerPoints that have power usage data trackers on them. So, for what we were going to present, that was a fair and equal test across all three. This one also has its keg of water in it as well, because we just wanted to compare off the display panel on X. This is KegMaster Premium behind me here. But Keginator against the Series X to see which one was going to, perform and get that data and be able to present that to you.
So, with the data, why is this experiment important, Daniel? Can you tell us why we go through the trouble of doing all this?
It's more about, one, I needed to see this for myself. Two, there's that many things out there where people are actually saying, oh, this is, better or something like that. It doesn't matter. To me, it just comes down to what am I going to see? So this test is balanced and fair against these two Kegerators here. Our most affordable option, the Keginator, against the competitors. So
I have to say, sorry, Daniel, I have to say that name is absolutely epic, Keginator. And the reason why we picked that name is just because half of the calls we get, people are calling it a Keginator instead of Kegerator. So the decision was pretty simple, eh?
It's what people already call a Kegerator when you talk to them. Almost everywhere you go, people are, Keginator, I got one. Yeah. So
it's just a side note because it's pretty funny. Now that we have collected data, which we've analyzed, and we're going to talk about this a little bit briefly now. We have the doors open because we needed the fridges to run because there's something. This is a thermal imaging camera. You can see the brand here. We're going to take some readings and we're going to show the findings of this because that's really relevant. When you're buying equipment, you want to know how it works and which one might last a little bit longer. So in terms of layout, we've covered the difference in layout. Now we're going to talk about the specifications and what's different. So now that the fridges are definitely running, cold, hot, we can probably close the doors. Yeah. One thing we talked about, but you can clearly see, is the sides here are bigger. And one of the selling points of that fridge from that manufacturer is saying that bigger insulation is better. Well, that's actually not entirely true because the insulation is bigger because there's the cooling coils that are, instead of being outside, they're inside, so they de facto make it bigger. Let's have a quick look at what we've been talking about.
So through the thermal camera, you can see the sides are warming up when it's running, which means that you'll need to give this Kegerator plenty of space for ventilation. And some of the heat will ingress into the fridge, but on the Keginator, all the heat is dissipated from the condenser on the back, keeping the sides cool and allowing for better efficiency. So you can see this in comparison that the Keginator compressor is running much cooler. So a lot of people wonder, like, why can't you just add more condensers? Well, it's just going to add more heat. So having them hanging off the back is the right way to go. As you can see here, it's a fantastic way to dissipate the heat and get it away from the Kegerator.
It's winter, it's Melbourne, it's 15, 16 degrees around here. So I do wonder, it's a fair question, I wonder how this is going to impact the fridge in a warm summer Queensland, Northern Territory, South Australia and Perth environment where when your fridge is standing in a 40-degree day, what happens to the side? So I'm not sure, we're just asking the question, but it's something to definitely consider. Do you want your sides to be boiling hot in summer or not? So we're not going to get too deep into the noise thing. I think what we've experienced is the noise level is very similar on all of these. Overall, those will not wake you up at night. Would you say that's fair?
Definitely. So yeah, very similar noise profiles on all of them.
And would you say it's quiet? Would you have it in your living room and be like, I can't hear it? Or
no, it's quiet operation. So yeah, you could have this in a living space and it wouldn't really be obtrusive. It sounds pretty normal.
So we've turned the fridges around because we're going to look at some of the data. It's going to be a bit crazy with numbers and stuff, so Daniel might summarize at the end. Basically, what we can have access to is the data sheet of each compressor And we've analyzed that. What it tells us is that on top of being smaller on this compressor, it also uses more power. Over time, our explanation or our targeted projection based on the sample that we've done is that this fridge will cost you 30% more to run per year in terms of dollars and power. This fridge will be a little bit more efficient. So that's really an interesting point. We've talked about the quantity of coolant. Obviously, this one has a lot less coolant. You can see the figure right here. It is 28 grams, and we have 40 grams of coolant. Now, this could mean a whole lot of things. It can mean that there's a bigger cooling coil in here, so it requires more coolant. This could be various different things. We're just stating data. We've talked about the noise, we've talked about the compressors. We have clear graphs that we're going to insert in that video and make available on our website for everyone to understand and see how we did the projection that it will cost 30% more power and money to run. We've talked about the compressor, the size, the efficiency. We've talked about the insulation. We need to address one last point. We might flip these around again, sorry. That's why we've put them on wheels. The back of the sticker on this fridge says capacity 187 liters, and ours will say capacity 160 liters. Now, when you calculate capacity, for people who know how to do this, you calculate obviously the usable volume, not when there's a wall. We have some drawing, and we'll insert the 3D drawing in the video and on our website as well. What we found is this fridge was calculated in a way to include that bottom part here where you cannot put anything in there because it's a solid part.
Oh.
And if you do this, you get to 187, 190 liters. But if you can't use the space,
use the space, then
what's the point, right?
Not space.
So the main reason why we said it's 160 on this one is because that back part there where the compressor is on the outside and that pushes in is not usable. So we're not counting that in. I would think that's fair.
It does give you, the Keginator and Premium both give you the ability to put in an array of keg beverages. Whatever kind of kegs you've got, 19s, 50s, 20s, you can stack 10s, you can do all sorts of cool stuff with them. So that capacity is actually pretty important, depending on whether or not you want variety. Some of us just want to drink a 50-liter keg, okay, but you still need to be able to close the door on that 50.
And to be completely fair and transparent on all these three fridges, they all hold 4 corny kegs, 4 90-liter kegs. They all hold 1 commercial keg. They all need a low-profile elbow if you use an A-type coupler. They're all the same in that regard. We all know that they're very similar in many regards, but the differences are in how much power you use and how long your fridge is likely to last, right? And you would think that a fridge that dissipates heat better might run longer and have a longer lifespan than a fridge that doesn't do it this way. Overall, that's the layout of the fridges.
That's the layout of them, and this design we know has worked really well through hot summers in the top end. Right. When it came to Premium, these things performed really well. Premium is now a 2-year warranty on this fridge model, and Keginator is going to have a year warranty because it is an affordable fridge.
Why would this fridge have a 2-year warranty and this fridge only 1?
I can tell you what. So I actually have been working with these fridges a lot with the customers and hearing how they're performing, and we don't get a lot of. We might get questions on what they can do with the fridge, but we don't get questions on why isn't it doing what it should be doing. So just from that basic point of view, these fridges have performed really well for the last 2 years. This is the same design and the same components as our Premium Kegerator.
All right, so let's take a look at the statistics and the figures, the data that we've mentioned in the video. This is a 3D design of both internals of the fridges. On the left-hand side, we have our fridges, and on the right-hand side, we have Kegland. As I mentioned in the video, we state that we have a smaller volume as them, but that's only because we don't incorporate that part of the fridge in the total volume because it's not usable, and we don't want to advertise something we cannot use as part of the volume. So I don't know how they calculate it, but clearly we have different ways of calculating that. The end result, I guess, is very similar in terms of what we can fit in the fridge, but in terms of being accurate, then we want to be as accurate as possible. So speaking of that, let's have a look at how we took the data to confirm that our compressor has a better cooling power than theirs. Clearly on the top one, this model is our compressor. That is the model that is advertised on their fridge. You can see the power supply, the frequency, all these different things, cooling capacity and COP, which is essentially the ratio that indicates how efficient or how powerful or how well it does cool. The higher the number, the better. So we have 1.85, and against 1.25 for their compressor, which will make a difference when we have a bigger compressor, more the condensing lines on the outside, all these different things. It will work not as hard as it needs to cool the fridge and to maintain it cool, which will in turn increase the longevity of our fridge. I'm not sure how it works for their fridge with the smaller compressor, the lines on the side walls that sort of cook on the inside. Not entirely sure, but clearly there's a massive difference here. 0.6 of a difference is pretty massive. We're talking about 30% and above. So that it translates into the next graph. This is the energy used to chill 20 liters of water with a temperature probe inside the water on each fridge. In blue, the Keginator, and red, the Series X. You can see the Series X drew a lot of power, at least twice as ours from the beginning. And if we follow the red graph, it turns on and off extremely often, and overall it stays on or draws more power more often. The next graph will show that very, very clearly. Keginator started a bit lower on drawing energy, and then maintain a lot less demand of power. So that translates into 1.33 kilowatt hours used by Series X and 1.01 by Keginator, which is the 30% we were talking about, where Series X requires 30% more power, which is 30% more money, dollars, to cool and keep cool. So this is a difference. At the end of the day, when you're looking at saving every dollar as you can, this will make a difference. Let's have a look at also the other thing I wanted to mention is a compressor that is smaller and runs more often. I'm not sure how it does by turning on and off that often and for a longer period of time. I'm not sure. I would probably go for a bigger compressor, condenser lines on the outside with a steady, better cooling capacity, obviously 185, and that doesn't need to be turned on and off as often. That also, I could be wrong. I absolutely admit that, but if that means the thickness of the walls and the insulation don't impact how much the compressor needs to be turned on and off, and probably doesn't impact the overall capacity of the fridge, I suppose. So our smaller sides don't make any difference. If anything, we have a better compressor that makes it all better. Looking at an actual line, we can see that the red line from the Series X is except for that part, is always higher. So that means there's always more power being consumed to cool down the water, the fridge, to maintain everything in order. So clearly, again, you can see the difference in statistics. That's what we recorded. It's pretty hard to argue against statistics and data. So this is it. This is right in front of us. The blue one is always lower and on the lower end and doesn't need to be turned on and off that often. Over time, what our employees recorded since before October last year, the power usage, total power usage of their KegMaster Premium, which will be similar to the Keginator, and you can see that it's total overall over time, so it will taper off as it goes, but it gives you an idea of how much it consumes per year. But this is what's staggering here. So before we get started on the conclusion, just a short reminder that Keg King was the first company to mass manufacture manufacture and mass import the Kegerators, bring them to the Australian market. We're back in full force with all these two models here, and in this video we've showed why. So Daniel, do you want to cover the conclusion, say what our findings were?
So the findings definitely are that these fridges, though they all seem very similar, are very different in how they perform. So we found that the design of the condensing lines hanging off the back of the fridges, as seen in Keginator and in KegMaster Premium, it's a fantastic way to get rid of the heat and to get the fridge to cool and to be efficient. So
does that, sorry for interrupting, does that mean efficiency that those two fridges might not turn on as often as the other ones, most likely?
I think it would be, power usage.
Power usage,
So how often does your fridge need to cycle to keep it cold?
Yeah.
And this is one of the considerations for when you buy a new appliance is how much is it going to cost? Our energy prices keep going the same way as all prices. Yeah. So it's important to kind of consider that if you're going to get a new appliance to be able to draw beverages from, and you should, that it's efficient and that it's going to be cost efficient as well.
Before we talk about these parts here, which are really important, we just a short reminder of everything. Series X from Kegland has wider walls, more insulation. We've covered why that is. Very well-designed airflow inside the fridge. The insulation is there because the cooling coils are on the side of the fridge. From the outside, you can clearly see that this compressor is smaller, there's less coolant, and the volume is similar on all three fridges. These two fridges have the cooling coil on the outside, a very good airflow as well.
This is perfect for better airflow.
Yeah, actually,
as well.
Talk to us about this.
So this is the tropical fan kit. We've had a short video to introduce it, but if you are one of those people that lives up in the top end and it never gets cold, and you're constantly living in the heat, then a good way to move air away from your kegerator, if you've put it under bench or in a small compact area, is the tropical fan kit. It just slides between the condensing lines at the back of the fridge and helps blow that hot air out of there. These are design innovations.
How long does it take to install that?
It will take probably about a minute. You need to take a sticker off and put the ducted fan there and then plug everything in. So it's just a small ducted fan.
Pretty easy. I mean, there's just a connector and a power plug here, so it sounds pretty easy. Yeah.
Now, the other thing that we invented as well is the telescopic font adapter. So again, Keg King engineering just like laying out the ways to keep these kegerators moving and keep them flexible and how you want to use them. When people started putting more and more of these things under counter, so you don't see the kegerator and the taps just sit on top, they weren't attaching the kegerator to the font and taps. This provides the ability to make that 120 millimeter join, should you need to, or shrink it however much you need, to be able to connect the kegerator directly to your font so it stays cold. Really smart way to do this.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I don't know, I've seen these in other videos where they were like, oh, look how easy this comes apart. It's actually really hard to get apart because there are two O-rings in place.
On the inside here, there's a thick O-ring on the inside, and what it does is it keeps the cool air inside the fridge, so it doesn't keep escaping all the time. I think my favorite part of this product actually is, so this goes inside your countertop, is you will be able to secure your font very safely to your countertop. And a lot of people are buying very expensive countertops. We know how much it costs. It's a big investment. You want a nice setup. You're going to spend a lot of dollars in there. You want your font to be securely set in place so that if you knock it off by accident, you just brush it, it doesn't break away and break the countertop. Secured in place, solid, very thick stainless.
The template for how to mount these is on the box. Pretty clever, because with marble and certain other expensive countertops, you get one go to do your drilling correctly.
This is so cheap anyway. So you're spending $2,000 on a countertop. This is $70 or whatever it is. It's really just a no-brainer. This is a liquid font cooling kit.
Again, the KegMaster line of stuff that's coming out of Keg King engineering. This is a really cool way to get the efficiencies of a flooded font. For those of you that don't know what a flooded font is, it's where your taps and font on the countertop or on top of the kegerator are filled with liquid instead of being air cooled. So this keeps it much colder, and this uses just the plate inside the fridge to get everything cold.
Now, when you say flooded font, do you mean the font like at the pub where it's fully iced up, or do you mean a different sort of flooded font?
It's flooded like the ones at the pub. So the ones at the pub you see that freeze, they're going to be able to drop that temperature way lower using glycol and much more powerful
But
refrigeration.
it doesn't create the ice on the font. It only creates a really nice layer of condensation, and water is a better insulation, so it will help temper the difference from outside to inside the fridge. Am I correct?
Correct, and it tremendously improves your first pour.
So in summary, we have our premium fridge here with 2-year warranty because of all the additional options we have. The light on the inside, which we introduced a few years ago, and that was copied from that fridge. The display is white. Again, same thing, was copied on that fridge.
Fan speed control, though.
Fan speed control hasn't been copied on this fridge just yet. Fan speed control, why would you want fan speed control?
It might just be that you don't need to have it moving as quickly inside your fridge. It might work out from a sound perspective as well. If you are really sensitive to sound, the fans themselves actually run very quietly, but being able to select the speed that it is blowing the air is kind of a higher level of control.
Right, so and then this fridge will have no lights on the inside, no fan speed control. It's your basic entry-level stuff that will do the job. It will get the job done. It's almost like a car. When you buy a brand new car, you go for all the options or you go for no options. The price difference is there. The level of warranty is different, but the quality is the same. I guess this one is the best and cheapest fridge that we have, and probably best on the market and cheapest on the market as well.
Really cool.
If you're looking for a fridge that has to be freestanding, that you cannot even built in, my friend has a fridge in the corner of his house. So the one side is against a wall, the other side is against a buffet where it has all the different glasses and stuff. To me, you probably would want this fridge instead of one that's going to warm up the walls of your house or not have way to escape the heat. I guess, but everyone's different. What we can guarantee is the quality of our products. What we can guarantee is the longevity of our products. We want to provide the longest lasting fridge possible in the most Australian environment possible.
2-year warranty on KegMaster Premium, 1-year warranty, and very affordable entry price on Keginator.
Best and cheapest. So when you're in the market, or if you for a new fridge, or if you're looking for a fermenter fridge, whatever you're looking for, if you want the cheapest and best, you're looking for the black door of the Keginator. Thank you. That's probably a bit lame.